Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, my flights home were uneventful, much better than the last trip I took to Brazil and all the troubles that I had on that one. So yeah, things are a little bit more back to normal. Speaking of back to normal, we got a couple of stories in the news today and a couple of them are very disturbing. So first off, we have some more cancellations by Royal Caribbean to their private sanctuary area Labadee. We have the Viking Sky that was, remember, it's hard to believe it's been 5 years, 2019, before the pandemic even, when that ship got stuck off the Norwegian coast and ran out of engine power, had to drop its anchors down, started helicopter evacuations in the middle of the storm. Well, believe it or not, it took 5 years, but the safety board finally has come out with their findings on that investigation. Thirdly, we have a story about another assault, and I'm finding this one very concerning, not with the fact that this happened and how the cruise line operated, but I also have been following another story of the same type that happened in the same area and what happened with that one. And in long story short, nothing happened. So back in 2019, the Viking Sky, it was all over the news. We covered it here on the channel. Remember, the ship got caught in the storm. It was listing like this. They sent helicopters and started evacuating people. There were about 1,400 people, passengers and crew on board. The engines completely stalled out, would not start. And they were literally like yards from crashing against the rocks, and it could have turned into one of the worst maritime disasters in history. Luckily, that didn't happen. They were able to get one of the engines started, and the storm started to subside, and they were able to limp into port. But during that time, there were 400 and some passengers airlifted. There were 36 people admitted to hospital, plus other people with numerous injuries from just sprained ankles and wrists, etc. But the investigation has finally come out, and they basically have determined that this ship should never have even left the port. First of all, they knew there was a storm coming. They knew the severity of the area. It's known for shipwrecks. It's a very high density storm area in that spot, and all captains should be aware of that. Well, the investigation identified operational, technical, and organizational safety issues that in different ways all contributed to that blackout of the engines. And it says because of this, all those circumstances, this ship was not safety compliant. And that was their finding, saying that this ship was not safety compliant at that point. Now, so far, Viking has not issued a statement on the incident, and it kind of brings into question for me, does this open them up to a class action lawsuit by those passengers who were, went through all that experience? Now that this safety thing has come out saying that, yeah, you should never have left, and you were not even safety compliant to begin with. But here's the thing, I don't know how long you have to launch a class action suit after the incident. I'm not a lawyer. It also depends on the country you're in, etc., etc. It's been 5 years for this finding to come out. 5 years. No wonder things take so long, right? How did this take 5 years to figure out? I don't get it. I don't get it, but there you go. We'll see what happens. Like I said, Viking has not responded to this issue, and we will see what happens. I know they reevaluated a lot of their ships after this incident and made some changes technically on some of their engines and their generators. So hopefully anything that happened back then is completely changed and safe now. Next, let's talk about Royal Caribbean. Royal Caribbean has, last week I reported they have canceled sailings to Labadee in Haiti, their private sanctuary area. It's kind of like a private island. It's a fenced off, secured area until the 22nd of March. Well, they've now extended that, saying it's going to be at least another month. They want to keep an eye on the area until things really calm down. And they say, just as a reminder, this is not because of a direct threat to Labadee. There's been no violence in Labadee. There's been no attack on Labadee. There's been no threats against Labadee. This is just under an abundance of caution that they don't want to take a chance that maybe something will happen. So they have canceled that sanctuary area, Labadee, their private island area, for at least another month, at least. And we will see what happens in Haiti going forward. Next, I have a story. The story itself is very disturbing, but an outcome from another court case that almost seems identical is just as disturbing. But before I get there, let me just invite you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. If you want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the findings of cruise ship safety to the new ships that came online, just came back from the brand new Sun Princess. Was she all ready to go? No. Did I still have a good time? Yes. Should you take it? Shouldn't you take it? I gave you my opinion, and it's up to you to make a decision. I'm going back on her. So you might know where I kind of lean towards. But yeah, if you just want to keep up to date with everything going on in cruising, from the shore excursions cancellations to late port arrivals to new ships, etc., 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 please hit that subscribe button. It really does help the channel out. It doesn't cost anything, and it really just tells YouTube, hey, people like cruising videos and they want to keep informed about the cruise industry. And that's really all it does. And it, like I said, other than help the channel out, and I do appreciate it. Okay, enough rambling. Let's talk about an incident to a tourist. Apparently, on the MSC Fantasia on March 15th, one of the entertainers on board was dancing. A 27-year-old man was dancing with a 30-year-old passenger. During the evening, things took a turn, apparently, when he forced her to do things. You can tell by what I'm saying the kind of things that he forced. She immediately reported it to security and the captain, and when they pulled into port the next day, the gentleman was arrested by police. Now, when he showed up at court, he refused to give a statement. He refused to say anything, and the judge let him out on bail. Now, it's not sure whether or not he has to, give up his passport. Is he going back to the ship? I would doubt he would be able to go back to the ship. We don't know what's happening. He just released on bail. But what's scary about this story is it's almost a year to the date where an 18-year-old Italian passenger on another MSC cruise ship in the exact same area did the exact same thing, allegedly, because it was not proven, allegedly, to a 17-year-old on board. And when they went to court, the judge ruled that he doesn't have any jurisdiction to, file charges and convict a person because it happened in international waters. So he went, not going to do anything. And so the person just walked free. And that's a scary situation if that becomes the precedent for cruise ships being in international waters, if they refuse to do anything when you get to port after being arrested. And you can have videotapes on the, in the ship of seeing what happens as well, right? You get a lot more proof on a cruise ship than you could possibly at any other location in the world, because there's video cameras all over the cruise ships, there's eyewitnesses, there's etc. And so that was a very disturbing case, and this one is as well. And that just means, guys, we have to be extra careful of not only yourselves, but your loved ones on the ship as well. Keep an eye on them, know where they are, and always keep in touch with friends and family when you're on the ship. And also be suspicious of anybody being too overly friendly on any vacation, not just cruise ships, any vacation. Just want to pass that warning on to everybody out there, because that's disturbing when the courts fail us to even try and see if this was real or not. They just kind of, not our problem. And yeah, that's a bad precedent to have. Well, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.